dare to dream, there is a whole world to win. What better way to kickstart this event than by remembering these words by our founder chairman, Sri Dhirubhai. I, Blossom D'Souza, am your host for today, and I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you to the Ultimate Pitch Season 8, a platform where we welcome change makers, innovators, and those who dare to dream. A platform where we truly believe that ideas are no one's monopoly. Now, before we begin, since we are on this digital platform, let's make this a lot more interactive. A quick request to all of you to stay active on the chat by posting your comments and questions throughout. I will keep glancing at the chat throughout this event, so let's make this as interactive as possible. All right, now I'd like to start with some food for thought. Let me ask all of you a question. Let's have the question on screen. Now take a look at the slide that's going to come on screen and start typing your answer on the chat. I need you to tell me what is common among all of these three stories or these three posters that you see on screen. I'll just wait for a while to see if some of the answers are coming in the chat. I'll repeat, I'd like you to head over to the chat window and let me know what do you think is common among all these three stories. Okay, interesting. Some wrong answers coming in on the chat, which is all of these are movies. Okay, somewhat close, but take a wild guess. Okay, Varun Pal, you say vision. Interesting, you're getting closer. Let's have a few more guesses on the chat. Varun Pal, very good try. And let's make this more interesting. There are a few goodies to be given away for the top three answers. Okay, there you have it. Somebody has hit the bingo. We have Rahul Jain who says entrepreneurship. Well, that's absolutely right, Rahul Jain, and kudos to you. We have some exciting goodies coming your way. So there you have it. The answer, or rather what is common among all these stories, is that they are stories or series about entrepreneurship or innovation. Moreover, these are stories of people who dared to dream. They decided to take action now. And we all live in a shared reality today, which only has become possible because someone somewhere decided to think new and to innovate now. And that's exactly what we want to drive with this edition of The Ultimate Fit. With that, I officially would like to unveil the theme for The Ultimate Fit Season 8, Lead the Now. There you have it, the theme for Reliance TUP 8.0. In a world full of wishful thinkers and dreamers, TUP invites you to be the now. Now, TUP and Reliance in general have always celebrated that restless energy to think fast, think big, and think ahead. And therefore, it is practically impossible to talk about be the now and to not talk about Reliance. Hence, it is my honor to call upon a leader who's been part of the legacy and will tell us more about Reliance's belief in defining our now and embodying the spirit of we care in everything that we do. Please join me in welcoming Mr. B. Srinivasan. He is a leader who knows Reliance extremely well and has been working with Reliance Industries for more than 22 years now. He is the chief of staff at the chairman's office, works very closely with our chairman himself, and has played a significant role in launching high impact projects and businesses of Reliance. He also heads the corporate communications function for the Reliance Group. He completed his master's degree from IRMA and is now also a member of the board of IRMA. Srini sir, as we fondly call him, was also a visiting fellow at Stanford University. Srini sir, welcome to the Ultimate Pitch. It is so wonderful to have you on board. With that, I'll hand it over to you. Sir, you're on mute.
Is this better? Yes, can you hear me, Blossom?
Perfect.
Thank you, Blossom, for your kind words. And as Blossom mentioned, let's make this interactive. Let's make this truly engaging. I mean, rather than just a broadcast mode. I mean, this is digital platforms do allow you to engage with people from across. Without much ado, can I just move to the next slide? I'm also going to just tell you, I'm going to keep the context by using a few slides for about 20-25 minutes, but keep the questions coming even through that. Blossom would pick and choose the questions and then keep telling to us. So I'm going to spend the time, actually, I mean, just to correct you, Blossom, this is my 25th year, not 22. I'm looking possibly younger than what you think it is. I'm actually older by about 3 more years than that. So can we go to the next slide, please? Thanks. So, I mean, this is Reliance at a glance. I just wanted to capture you. Today, I mean, we have five major businesses. The first one is oil to chemicals. The second one is oil and gas. The third one is retail. The fourth is geo platform. Then the fifth one is media business, media and entertainment business. This is actually a phenomenal story because I mean, we are today India's largest company by virtually almost all financial parameters over a long term now. Our market cap is roughly about 250, $220 billion. The last year revenues top line was in excess of $100 billion. The first Indian company to get to that number. And we are also, one of the things that we take a large amount of pride is we are also amongst India's largest job creators. We created, in the COVID period, we created in excess of 1 lakh every year. Last year was 2.32 lakh jobs that we created. And our EBITDA is about 16.5+ billion dollars, right? So this is who we are. It's a very unique enterprise because globally there's been a lot of debate on whether there's a conglomerate, right, wrong, all of that. But we managed to create a fairly large amount of value in each of our businesses. But there is one core theme that actually drives all of us at Reliance. And any thoughts on what it's going to be? I mean, so move to the next slide. I mean, I will. We always believe that anything that is truly transformational, anything that is changing, anything, whether it is always starts with empathy. Empathy is actually the core theme that drives all of us at Reliance. And what is empathy? Empathy is actually seeing with the eyes of the another person, listening with the ears of another person, and feeling with the heart of another. I mean, it's so beautifully quoted. If you actually, when they say, I mean, put yourself in the shoes of another person, but essentially what it means is that you are trying to actually see another person's viewpoint, hear another person's viewpoint, or feel another person's viewpoint. So this is what the core philosophy of Reliance is. I mean, empathy for our employees, empathy for our community, empathy for our investors. All of that is what keeps driving us for the country and for the planet. I mean, next slide. When you say empathy, how does it actually manifest? I mean, it manifests in the philosophy of we care, right? if you actually, I mean, seen our annual report, both every year, I mean, you will actually see that this is a constant theme. We care is not just a foundation activity for us. We care is the core philosophy that drives all of Reliance's actions. The first and foremost is we care for our country. We have always aligned all our businesses with national goals and priorities, with the view and with the intent of making India stronger, more self-reliant, and more prosperous. Right? If you actually look at our history from '77, when clothing was a very immediate need, and affordable fashion, affordable clothing, we brought in a revolution with women, and then we backward integrated to start making polyester. Today, we are amongst the largest producers of polyester. Imagine a situation if you actually had to import most of your feedstock. Polyester is a key commodity in most of the products that we use in daily lives. So we created the facilities to make India very self-reliant in polyester. The second thing is care for community. So we anything that we do, I mean, it's not just the immediate community. Societal value is something that keeps driving our actions. We believe that we have created a significant amount of societal value. We touch the lives of over 800 million Indians today. I don't know how many of you actually saw that rest of the world metaverse. It called the Ambaniverse. I mean, if you haven't seen, just Google it and see. I mean, how many products that we make touch each individual's life every day. We care for our partners. We've always treated all our stakeholders as valued partners in building world class and world scale assets. Right? I mean, it is. This is. I mean, when I say partners, it's not it's joint venture partners. It is our employees are also partners. Shareholders are partners. Our investors are partners. All of them are our partners. The fourth one that I just wanted to highlight is care for our planet. I mean, this is something that is a running theme that will come in the next few slides as well when we talk a little more in detail about our new energy business. Next slide. But all of this, I mean, if all of this would be impossible to do if you don't have what our chairman calls the greatest asset that we have. It's our people, right? We care for them. I mean, who we care for. As our chairman says, I mean, it's our greatest asset is always our people. I know, I mean, all of you in business school have your own views, you form your own thinking and all that. So we've been genuinely thankful for our employees and what they have contributed to the country, to the society. Each of the game changing, each of the transformational projects, initiatives, facilities that we have created would not have been possible without our people working with their hearts and minds, and that they do only because as an entity we care for them, we care for everyone, each and every one of our employee and their family members. This has given us significant amount of accolades. We are truly thankful for our employees for helping Reliance become one of the top 20 employers in the world. This is Fortune's ranking. Just to set you the context, there is not even Reliance is the only one from India in the top 100. So we are in the top 20. So that gives you a perspective of how we are walking the talk in terms of who we care about. We care thing. Next slide, please. I'm sure, I mean, you know that we are now setting the stage for the next wave of innovation and value creation. One of the things that actually excites our people to come to work is uh, not the past laurels. I mean, we have done some phenomenal things in the past, but we are not going to be actually spending time in terms of actually patting ourselves on the back, talking about our past. What excites us is the future, and we believe today India is at the cusp of an exciting period, as the Prime Minister calls it, the Amrit Kal. The next 25 years, the opportunity for India, the value that will be generated in India is going to be immense. Our chairman has said yesterday, he said, saying that India will grow to about 40 trillion now, plus by 2047 from about 3 trillion. So that actually gives you a context of the amount of growth that we have, which essentially means, I mean, from about 2.5 odd thousand per capita, you'll be about 20,000 per capita. So that's the kind of growth that you will have which will make India a fairly rich middle income country. So that's the opportunity that exists today, and I will spend the next few slides talking about how we think about this and how we are actually starting to put some of these initiatives in place. Next slide. So the three engines that are going to power our new wave of value creation. The first one, of course, is the youngest one in our portfolio of businesses, the Geo and the Digital Services Initiative. This story has been told. All of us have lived through it, and I can tell you with justifiable amount of pride and with humility that if the COVID had happened pre 2016, India and Indians would have suffered even more than what they did during the pandemic. I think because Geo was there, the affordable connectivity was there. People could actually work from home, learn from home, get healthcare from home, get entertained at home. All of that was possible purely on the back of high quality, affordable internet. I think this genuinely changed the destiny of a nation. Today, if you actually look at, I think people have written about pre and post Geo world and how this has actually ignited a startup ecosystem, a startup revolution in the country. Today, we are very proud that India actually has makes more unicorns last year than any other country in the world. So these things would not have been possible if it wasn't for Geo. We're very, very proud. We're also humble to actually say this is our contribution to the digital India, the digital destiny of a nation that we have actually brought in. Today, what changes from here? I think we are rolling out as we speak the Geo True 5G. Our intent is not just to connect the phones, but 100 million homes is our target with unparalleled digital experiences. And we believe this 5G will catapult millions and millions of small merchants and enterprises to greater heights based on digital-led growth. What this provides them a platform is technology need not be restricted to large corporates and large enterprises. It can actually be democratized truly to be used by anybody in the country. All of us have seen the amount of explosion of content that is coming down from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 town, or the explosion in UPI transactions, explosion in electronic transactions or e-commerce transactions. All of that is truly, satisfying for an Indian, because today, India is counted as amongst the most digital savvy nations based on our own network and the ability to use digital services. The second big engine that is actually going to drive the new value creation pathway for us is retail. Very unique story in organized retail. If you actually look at most organized retail's evolution across the world, there are two things that is a given. One is whenever organized retail actually takes root, usually the mom and pop stores, convenience stores, kirana stores, whatever name you call them, they are all rendered jobless, and they will have most of them shut shops. And this has been the story across all of Western world, all of the Southeast Asian, most of the places where you would actually see these people actually don't survive uh, if organized retail takes root. We believe that that should not be the case in India. So we have worked out a new commerce initiative which is focused on digitally empowering kiranas and small merchants. When I say kiranas and small merchants, this is not just in grocery. This can be in apparel. This can be in uh, electronics and anything else that you can think of, right? It's if any of you understand how kiranas or the small merchants operate, they typically deal with multiple vendors who have their own milk run, as they call it, of coming once a week, twice a week, and things like that. And if you want a product, they will. If you want a fast moving product, they will say, fine. There are three slow moving products also. You will have to take that for you to take, for me to give you this. And there is a credit rate, which credit period, which is also at variance with each other. They may or may not get the best deals because they don't have the scale. But when we take away all of these pain points, which is the back end through our supply chain, saying that you deal only with us, nobody else, but all your requirement, whether it is Coke, Pepsi, Levers, ITC, Gillette, Procter and Gamble, you name any of these, you don't have to deal with them. I'll give you all of this, and we'll put an analytical platform on top for you to know what you are selling, when you are selling, how much are you selling. And then there is also an engine that keeps running to check what is the reorder point or the reach reorder point, and then keep replenishing this. Then they have a shot at actually not just surviving, flourishing in the new ecosystem. Then the third one, of course, is uh, we our O2C business, which continues to actually provide significant amount of growth opportunities for India and Indians. We are providing transportation fuels in one of the fastest, amongst the fastest growing energy markets. And more importantly, I mean, we have the ability to actually keep changing our product slate to manufacture what is needed by the country and the world. And the third piece is we also earn significant amount of forex for the country. For those of you who are not aware, petroleum products is one of the largest in our export basket. It is very unusual because we actually import almost all of our requirements of crude, but we value add and then send it back to the rest of the world. So that is actually a good thing for the country in earning forex. And then we are also amongst the largest manufacturers of petrochemicals, plastics, and polyester in the world, amongst the top 10 in almost all major product categories. So these are the three engines that are covering our growth. So it's from this you can see that none of our existing businesses is going to slow down. It's only going to continue to grow. Next, Nimit, next one. Just to spend 2 minutes, I mean, what gives us unique advantage in our O2C business is this is by far one of the most vertically integrated play anywhere in the world in the entire petrochemical value chain. So what actually happens is, even if you lose money in one part of the chain, you will always gain money in another part of the chain. So that's what actually keeps happening every single time. So if we lose, let's say in the intermediates, we'll make money in the final product kind of a thing. So we believe, I mean, not we believe, India is actually a very, very fast growing market for both petrochemicals and for energy and fuels. So what gives us significant amount of benefit is we are integrated, I said, but we also enjoy scale. I mean, now we're one of the largest players in the world. In fact, the refinery is the single largest refinery anywhere in the world. Just to give you a sense, Jamnagar refinery actually accounts for almost 2% of the global production of fuels. Another way of looking at it is every second car, out of every 100 cars, 2 cars are actually powered by 2 trucks, 2 cars, 2 ships, 2 planes are powered by fuels that you come from Jamnagar. So this is actually, I mean, we also have, as you would know, that we also have a fuel retailing JV with BP, where we are opening newer and newer stores and also setting up EV charging units. And more importantly, I mean, circularity has been embraced fully by this business. I mean, I don't know how many of you know that we actually have just increased the scale of PET bottle processing, recycling from about 2 billion to 5 billion this year. So just to give you a sense, 2 billion bottles were being recycled every year. Now it's actually getting increased to 5 billion PET bottles. So that's the circularity has been fully embraced by our O2C business. Next. Next. Not my words, but this is our chairman's word. The most exciting project that he has ever done for somebody who has done so much. He says it's the new energy business. He said that this is possibly the most important and the most exciting project that he's ever done. And remember, he has done retail, he has done refinery, he has done petrochemicals, he has done textiles, he has done digital services, and actually telecom services twice over. And for him to say that this is the most exciting project actually gives you the kind of humongous scale, complexity, and innovation that would actually shape the new energy industry going forward. We believe that, I mean, this is going to be a major project, not just for Reliance, but for the country and for the world. Currently, I mean, what we have announced, we are spending about $10 billion in setting up 5 gigafactories. The first one is India's most integrated PV cell factory. When I say integrated, we start all the way from sand to silica to polysilicon to all the way to ingots to cells to modules. The second one is we're looking at battery storage, a gigafactory for setting up battery storage. Third one is electrolyzer. We know we understand hydrogen quite well. I mean, we're one of the few people who understand hydrogen extremely well. We produce significant quantity of hydrogen in our refineries, except that it is gray hydrogen. Now we will be using the green to make green hydrogen. Then we are looking at fuel cell gigafactory, and all of this put together, the one that would actually make significant impact for the consumer is the power electronics one. So we have also started investing significantly in companies across the world, either providing access for us for our business to technology, newer technology, innovative technologies, right? And or we are actually looking at any mature technology or any factories that we can buy. For example, I mean, REC was a good 25-year-old company, but one of the pioneers in the solar modules. So we have bought them as well. We have bought Ambri, we have bought Nextwave, we have bought Ferradian, which Ferradian is a very we are looking at battery, as I said, but we are not just going to rely on uh, what should I say? I mean, the conventional battery of lithium ion or any of these rare earth based batteries, because rare earths are difficult to come by, and the supplies are possibly dominated by one country. So we're looking at other options for elements that are freely available in the atmosphere and in the planet. So sodium is one that we are looking at. So next. So this we believe is going to actually. Um, Let me just give you the premise for our thinking on new energy. I did quote chairman saying that India would be about a $40 trillion economy by 2047. But that's just a milestone, right? 3 to 40 is a journey over the next 25 years. What happens is India is currently one of the lowest, or one of the lowest per capita consumers of energy in the world. We believe when you grow 13 times in 25 years, your energy needs will also explode, right? The opportunity as we see for India is that most of the new energy requirements, I mean, is going to be can be through renewable sources. That's the big opportunity that we have, right? And the government actually has been enabling. We believe that there will be a 500 gigawatt of non-fossil energy capacity by 2030, which is what we said in COP26 summit. And we also had the government had set a goal of 50% of energy requirements to be met from renewable sources. So this is the opportunity that very clearly exists. What we are doing is we are setting up. Our plan is to establish 100 gigawatt of solar power by 2030 with the investment of I mentioned about $10 trillion in $10 billion in 3 years, right? And we are building expertise as we speak through investing in people, through M&A, through key areas, and identifying technology gaps, and then gaining global exposure. So we have set up listening posts in other places as well. I talked about Lithium Works. Sensoc is a SaaS product for the renewable energy. Altigreen is an electric scooter company. And REC actually is one of the pioneers that uses heterojunction technology, solar cells, which gives you better efficiency, HAT as it's called. I talked about sodium. I talked about we want to be India's largest, most preferred provider of mobility, including EV charging and low carbon solutions as well. So this is where we are on this new energy scale. Next. Nimit, next slide. Next. There's also a question from Abhishek Patel, which I will cover. How does Reliance Jio plan on touching all segments of household in India? Right. I mean, as I talked about it, I mean, uh, let me just take two minutes to set you the context. Right. See, we have seen in our own lifetime over the last 15 years or 10, 15 years actually in India or in other parts of the world, The world has evolved from a 2G to a 3G to a 4G and now to a 5G platforms, right? The standards that were laid out in 2G, India didn't even have a role to play. India was not even in the room when these standards were discussed and thrust. In 3G as well, I don't think, I mean, India actually was possibly, I mean, we were allowed to knock the door of the room. 4G, we were pretty much part of the conversations, but we were not on the table. On the 5G for setting the standards, India is part on the table. And I hope and I believe strongly that for 6G, India would be the leader that would actually set the tonality for the standards and all, right? What Geo Platforms has done, I mean, we're very clear that India is the world's most digitally dexterous country. I mean, it has the largest Gen Z workforce, desire to lead new technologies, adopt digital technologies on scale that has not been seen anywhere for a long time. India is the world's second largest and fastest growing internet user base. But there is one big difference. I mean, India continues to be dependent on wireless broadband for access. That's the default option for a vast majority of Indians. Indian households are not that well wired as when you compare it with the Western world. But what also gives a significant amount of happiness is the internet user base in rural India is growing faster actually. And this actually is a faith that Indian population adopts technology when it is provided good quality with affordable price much faster than anywhere else in the world. We have created a digital connectivity platform of unparalleled capacity and a nationwide reach. We have done something very, very different from what others. In our 4G, we actually rolled out across the country at one go one. Second, we made, of course, I mean, we made voice free, we made SMS free to start with. We made the plans much simpler. Before Reliance Geo, if you actually had to pick a plan, you needed a PhD to understand the plans and what is in, what is out, what is included, what is excluded, and all. We made it much simpler. We made the whole onboarding process a much easier thing. So that's on the back of it. When I mean when the chairman actually set a goal publicly saying that we will get 100 million consumers in a year, there are a lot of people who were skeptical, saying there's no chance in hell. And we were also rolling out voice over LTE for the first time in scale in India. It was never in the world. It was never done anywhere in the world at that kind of a scale. But I mean, as I said, the core is the people. The people did magic, and we reached our 100 million number in 170 days. Right? I mean, that is a world record. It will not be beaten, I guess, for a long time. What we are also now using is the whole 5G rollout on seeing how it will impact education, health, agriculture to the doorsteps of rural India riding on a geo platform. I mean, what this essentially means is this is actually the holy grail. I mean, people have been saying, how do I actually solve some of the most intractable problems in education, healthcare, agriculture, doubling your farm income, all of that. I mean, this will give you a good option for people to ride the fiber connectivity that we will provide to create solutions for education, healthcare, agriculture, everything else as well. We are also a large software company already developing an ecosystem of new digital technology platforms, including IoT, cloud computing, new commerce, home and office connectivity platform, amongst others. We will also support and equip MSME players with cutting-edge plug-and-play technology-enabled tools. And as you know, it's been publicly articulated by our chairman, there are about 2,000 plus engineers who are working on setting the standards for 5G and for 6G. The stack is completely developed by Indians for India, and this is something which we should be very, very proud of. We are amongst the 4 countries that actually has an end-to-end stack for 5G. So this is who we are. This is the kind of growth that has seen. I mean, as I said, if you provide great opportunity, the success will chase you. Today, I mean, we believe that our digital economy will grow to about $800 billion to $1 trillion in the next 10 years. So that's the kind of a growth that is possible. All of you know that, I mean, when we launched, India's per capita consumption was sub 250 MB. I'm talking about MB, right? Today it's about 14 plus GB, right? That's the kind of growth, 4 into 14. So that is about 58 6 times in 6 years. So that's the kind of growth that India has shown. We are India's number 1 wireless broadband subscribers with over 425 million subscribers. And we are also India's highest number of wired household. We are about 7.5 million households have been wired, so we are also that. So just to Abhishek Patel, so we have connectivity. We will provide solutions through our geo platforms for agriculture, for healthcare, for digital health, for payments, everything else. So that's how we will entertainment, all of this. So that's how we would actually be addressing a fairly large part of the wallet in a household. Next, Nimit, next. Next, this is on the retail. Um, of course, I mean, we takes a while for most people to even realize that we actually not only have really 16,000 stores of our own, which sells everything from apparel to electronics to grocery to jewelry and everything else. Again, a very, very unique model globally. I mean, not many retailers actually have presence across both specialty formats as well as big box format and the smaller box format. So we are one of the few large retailers. We are the only one in the top 50 retailers globally from India. We also represent fairly large number of global brands in India. 7 out of top 10 global brands are represented by India. I mean, just to give you a sense, if there are 100 brands, then 70 of them are ours, right? Whether from Xenia to Armani to Bottega Veneta to Bali to Balenciaga to Paul and Sharp, Tubi, Diesel, Boss, Muji, Steve Madden, Marks and Spencer, Mother Care, Iconics, all of this is our Superdry, Dune. All of these are our brands. So this is very unique. I mean, you don't have the same retailer actually doing high-end Armanis and the Zenias and also selling vegetables. So this is again a very, very unique model in the world. Next. So we are also India's largest retailer by scale, by financials, by anything you take, reach, scale, revenue, profits, everything. We are the largest in the country, and also amongst the fastest growing globally, right? I mean, our growth rates are very, very healthy, big double digit numbers. We have 16,000 plus stores across 7,500 cities, 42 million square feet of shopping space, and about 200 million loyal customer base. The uh, the uh, we, we are actually, our store count in India is about four times the second largest player, and we have also increased it 4x in 5 years. We have an omni-channel presence of integrated offline online model to truly differentiate. GeoMart is the fastest growing new commerce site in the country. I talked about new commerce, how we are helping the small merchants, whether it is the digital apparel or the grocery one. So this is one business which would do two things. One, I'm just trying to address Gopal's question about how will it look like in 5 years. I don't want to put numbers, but we will continue to be a fairly large part of India's growth story. We believe, I mean, India has, as I said, I mean, it's always been, I mean, betting on India's growth story. India's growth will be significant in the next 5 years. We believe that we will continue to be a meaningful part in India's growth story. Uh, we will, all our businesses will be firing fully, including our new energy business. So in 5 years' time, new energy will also be fully functional. So all four plus the media businesses would be very big in terms of actually growth. So we believe that, like I said, I mean, we were the first company to actually hit a $200 billion market cap, $100 billion in revenue. Hopefully, we'll be setting newer records, newer and bigger records for the country. Yeah, next. The story would not be complete if I don't tell you what the aspirations for foundation and how we are actually contributing to the communities in and around us. Uh, we have Reliance Foundation was started in 2010. We have touched the lives and livelihoods of over 63 million people across 60,000 villages and towns in India. Our rural transformation program actually has helped over 14.5 million people earn better livelihoods and lead better lives. Our disaster management teams have actually tackled 47 calamities, providing support to over 1 million people across 19 states and three union territories. We focus on education, healthcare, rural transformation, urban renewal, arts, culture, and heritage. And we have two platforms. I mean, actually, looking at all of this, which is one is women's empowerment, the second is use of technology. Key platforms across all of these sectors. Next, Amit, next. So we also run ESA program, as we call it, Education and Sports for All program that has touched about 21.5 million children. We just started Geo Institute with two postgraduate programs, one in artificial intelligence and data science, the second one in digital marketing. Over the next 5 years, we have very ambitious programs for Geo Institute in terms of actually scaling up our programs and starting hopefully our undergraduate program as well. And third, I mean, one of the bigger programs that we're doing is we are collaborating and partnering with global and Indian organizations to empower 1 million rural women entrepreneurs to earn 1 lakh rupees every year sustainably. This program, it's just running in 3 states, and in 3 years, we hope to do this. Next, that's it.
Wow, so that was truly inspiring. And if there ever is a way to get to know Reliance in a nutshell, I know it seems quite impossible, then Srini sir, this was the perfect way to do it. So thank you so much for that. Sir, if you're okay with it,
As
let's take a
I'm
few
seeing some of the
questions.
questions, Blossom. Can I just start one by one?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Abhishek, you asked about how does Reliance Jio plan on touching all segments of household. As I said, I mean, we will be the pipeline that runs into the household. And on top of it, we will have our own platforms. I mean, whether it is entertainment like a Ood, Jio TV, Jio Cinema, or in financial services, we'll have our own products, or My Jio, which is a Meta app, Jio Mart, all of that is there, which will touch all segments of household. But like all pipelines, this is not an exclusive pipeline. Anybody else can actually also drive on that pipeline. So, but we believe that based on the value offering and by the service that we provide in each of our key areas, we believe that we would not just touch, we will make a positive impact on the household. Gopal wanted to know how does the broad roadmap look at. I did talk about it, saying that we will be growing bigger. I don't want to put any numbers because we are a listed company and we will be held accountable. So we will continue to be a very large part of the Indian growth story, is what I would want to say. Asima had asked, how does Geo deal with dynamic changes in customer behavior pattern? Asima, actually, I mean, the dynamic behavioral changes, all of this come if you are completely diverse from reality, right? If you are listening to the consumer every single day, every single minute, you would know what are the broad trends that are there, and then you won't be caught surprised, right? We don't want to be in a situation like what happened to the other players to happen to us. When Geo came into business, it got a lot of people unawares because I think they didn't realize what India needed. A lot of people did tell us saying that what will Indians do with data? Why will they need data? All of that. But we really understood the customer's needs better. And that comes only from listening to the customer every single minute, right? And a lot of obituaries were written about Reliance's ability to actually handle consumer businesses even before we started retail and before we started Geo. Now, nobody questions our ability to actually succeed even in a consumer business because what we put at the core is essentially people, right? Whether it is our employees or the customer. The centricity that we deal with in listening to the customer every single day is what would set aside a successful company from a not so successful company. So we would continue to listen to the consumers very, very eagerly and excitedly and actually listen and then take action on it. And so that's why we don't want to be caught surprised now. But what we have seen also, Asima, is that we have driven some of the changes in the customer behavior pattern because of our own ability. For example, I talked about simplicity in the plans, right? It was such a very simple thing that was staring in everybody in their face, saying, "Why do you want to have 365 different plans? Why can't you just have six different plans and then say this is 99, this is 199?" Easy for people to deal with, right? So we have also driven some of these things by setting new trends for the industry, and then because our ability to listen, I mean, one of the things that when we did talk to the customer, they said, I mean, oh my God, it requires a PhD for me to figure out. This was an actual quote. It requires a PhD for me to figure out which plan is better and what are the inclusions and exclusions. We listen to the customer. I think, I mean, that's what would make it worthwhile to be a successful consumer company. Prasanna wants to know how we are planning to grow in the pharma and the healthcare sector. Prasanna, you are aware that we had acquired NetMed in the pharma sector, right? I mean, it's NetMeds actually has had a uh, online presence. Now we are also looking at opening a few offline stores, Prasanna, so that our omni-channel offering becomes complete. On the healthcare sector, Prasanna, we have really exciting opportunities that will come up in the digital health space. So I believe that, I mean, that is work in progress for us. So hopefully, I mean, in the next 2 3 years, there will be a lot more announcements on the sector. Tushar wants to know how important is rural connectivity in the era of 5G led by Geo. Um, Actually, I mean, we have actually burnt the bridge that existed. I mean, the digital divide that actually separated rural from urban actually has been destroyed. I believe if you actually travel anywhere in the country, whether it's a far-flung village or the metro town, you will get great connectivity. You're going to get the same quality of service, same quality of connectivity anywhere in the country. We believe this is extremely important and a key goal of the digital India, because you cannot have digital divides in today's era and time. So it's an extremely important goal for us. In fact, I mean, we didn't wait for any USO or anybody to subsidize us before we started connecting the rural areas as well. So we take pride in the fact that, I mean, we are giving the same quality of service and the same quality of connectivity across the country, whether it is a rural, tier two, tier three town, metro, doesn't matter to us. Very, very important goal from a digital standpoint, Tushar. Rishikesh wants to know, how does Reliance decide entries into new ventures? What are the deciding factors to enter a new market? Okay, good question. Okay. Uh, Rishikesh, I mean, as I said, I mean, India's opportunities today are huge and immense across several sectors, right? I mean, there is going to be growth in practically every sector that you can think of, because the ride from the journey from 3 trillion to a $40 trillion economy in next 25 years, which actually would be for most part of your working life, you are going to see growth on a scale that has never happened in India's history, or very few cases of human history you would have seen the kind of growth that you're going to get, right? So when you're talking about that kind of growth in the next 25 years, which would be most of your working lives, it is easy to get lost in saying that, oh, I'll participate here, I'll participate here, I'll participate here. We need to be focused. We need to be good at what we do. So we have chosen these things: energy, materials, consumer businesses, and digital services. So these are the areas that we'll focus on. And how we decide is, we look at the scale of opportunity. We look at what is it that we bring to the table that we will be unique, and we will offer a differentiated proposition to any of the existing people, right? Whether it is in refining, marketing, petrochemicals, how do we bring technology? How do we use technology to make things better for our customers and consumers? And then we write something called a risk register, Rishikesh, to find out what all can go wrong, right? It's called a risk register in our language. We write, I mean, regulatory can change, technology can change, people can leave, your funding can go down, there could be a chip shortage, there could be 100 other things which will go wrong, right? We write all of the things that can go wrong. We assign a probability of what will go wrong, and how do we actually mitigate all of this. So that's how we decide, and based on that score, we said, yes, this is a worthwhile bet to take. Right? A lot of people didn't give us credit when we entered retail. A lot of people didn't give us credit when we entered Geo, saying that we will fail. But we are, I mean, one of the things, I mean, so that I also want to disabuse the notion saying we are always successful. We do fail, we do fall sometimes. But what separates us is the resilience of getting up and running the race to win. Right? We do fall. We do fall on our flat on our faces sometimes, but we get up very quickly and we continue working. Rohit wants to know, Reliance is working on spinning out Geo Financial NBFC. What are the macro aspects in play for Geo to venture into NBFC space or the financial services space? Rohit, we believe that, I mean, the financial services is ripe for a disruption, because you look at most of the financial products in the country, it's completely underserved. You look at insurance, you look at asset management, you look at equity. Very small part of Indians actually participate in any of these financial products. The opportunity is immense because if one way of looking at it, they always teach you in business school, saying that, one man goes to an island, says, no market, nobody wears shoes. Another guy looks at it and says, nobody wears shoes, great market. So we look at it the second way. We believe today what is going to be a differentiated factor is the use of technology and the amount of data that you can churn out. We believe that India is actually going to set very, very new models for financial services, and we believe we would be one of the leaders in this space. There'll be a lot of people, but we will be amongst the people. Bimi wants to know what are the major changes driven by Reliance during and after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Maybe this is one fatigue factor has set in, but I think digital engagement is one that has actually been a major change that is set in our working life. I think fatigue factor has set in for most people now. People don't want to just do only digital; they want a hybrid or meeting. But COVID actually, I must tell you that the work that we did during COVID as part of the foundation is something that also makes us feel all proud as employees of Reliance. For example, if I were to take, we did, vaccine Suraksha to vaccinate not just our employees, but their families and also retired employees and their families. Our HR teams actually reached out to every single retired employee to find out whether they've been vaccinated, do they need help, can they come here? Because there were also queues at some point of time. We had a symptom checker, which our HR colleagues and our volunteers used to check. Every single employee and their family members had to were tracked every day, and if there was an issue, our medical services team will actually reach out. We did great service for our employees and their families. Unfortunately, we did lose a few people. Uh, their families have been provided assistance for education and healthcare, and we continue to pay salaries for 5 years of that employee. Possibly the best package that has ever been on for those who are really unfortunate to have lost a family member. Oxygen is one case. We never produced oxygen, medical grade oxygen in our life, but we did this. So there are a lot of changes that we have done in our working life, Bimi, but there are also certain constant themes of actually innovating and doing what is good for India. The other piece that stood out, Bimi, our chairman had publicly said that we will be debt free by March 31, 2021, right? We could have taken shelter under the fact, oh my God, there is COVID, there is pandemic in the world, there is nothing that's happening anywhere in the world. But we didn't do it. Everybody sat in their home and we generated we generated about $30 billion of capital and rights issues sitting at home. Everybody sat at home. There were no road shows. There was no long meetings with the regulators face to face. Everything was done on a sheet of computers. And this was the fastest capital rise anywhere in the world during a pandemic. I don't think that is going to be better. Hopefully, we will not see a pandemic anytime soon. Muralidhar wants to know how do we use the 5G infrastructure to bring about a revolution in the healthcare and education sector. Let me take the second one first, Muralidhar. Education, see, access is just one component of providing a very different model of quality in the education sector, right? The second piece is actually the device. If you don't address the third piece is content, right? Content, I'm sure a large number of people will provide really engaging content and so on, and we will be also amongst that large number of people who will be providing engaging content in education. But education is a complex sector. There's also governed by a lot of NCERT guidelines, SCERT guidelines, all of these as well. So language, all of that. So it is content is one piece. Infrastructure of connectivity is second piece. The third one is the device infrastructure. If you do not bring down the prices of devices to become affordable, you will truly not make a difference in the education sector, right? So, which is where we are working, where the chairman spoke about in our AGM about the cloud PCs, where you can just have a keyboard and a mouse to convert any television into a cloud book. right? So that is going to be the key differentiator. So that you need to bring about a device revolution. So that's why one of the things we always do is to think of the ecosystem rather than think about it in a siloized manner. The healthcare is far more exciting because healthcare is all about data, right? I mean, today, I mean, there are new yesterday, I was talking to somebody in the US. See, when a large number of people are working on old age as well, right? So one of the things that they are developing in this particular university that we were having a conversation is to have virtual pets, right? Which constantly tracks you, looks at your not just your physical well-being, but also your it looks at your face. Are you looking sad? Are you looking happy? Are you looking worried? All of that it keeps tracking and keeps sending real-time information to the people who are tracking this person. I said, why a virtual pet? A good real pet would be good, but the virtual pet takes away some of the issues that old people may have of taking care of pets, like the pets feeding, the pets health, the pets need for a walk. All of that would be not required. So you have this, you have the good thing of actually feels like owning a pet, but I mean, you are also, it's a medical thing. So lots of exciting things are happening in the healthcare sector, including the wearable revolution. I mean, today it keeps sending me, sending my doctor if I want healthcare data about my BP real time. It can take a ECG, keep sending it at periodic intervals. All of that is possible. So there are lots of exciting things that are happening across the India, and I think if you actually win in India, you can win in the world because the cost structures in India are very different. If you really want to make anything at scale, you have to do in India. You have to be really getting the cost structure right. If you win in India, the opportunity to win in the world is immense in the 5G era. So that's the last question I have.
Thank you so much, Rini sir, and that was truly inspirational. Any last piece of advice before we wrap up this segment? Any last piece of advice for our young B school students out there?
I'll only want to say two things. Don't be scared, right? Be brave. I mean, the opportunities in front of you is immense. I would have loved actually to be a 24, 25-year-old kid coming out of a business school now, because the most exciting period in India's independent history is going to be the next 25 years. You are going to set the platform for continuous growth for the next 25 years. The second one is your education does not stop the moment you step out of your campus. It's going to be continuous learning. Please invest time in learning every single day, learning every week, learning every month, every year, because there are going to be newer and newer things that are going to happen and impact you in your lives. Like some of the 20-year-old kids who are upstaging the 40 and the 50-year-olds like me, even in your age, you will come a time when when you are 30 and 35, there will be 15-year-old kids who will try and replace you because they are smarter than you. So if you don't keep learning, you will be actually fall by the wayside very, very quickly. So these are my two pieces of message for you.
Thank you. So, Srini sir, on behalf of everyone here, a big, big thank you to you for spending the time. And it was truly wonderful listening to the journey of Reliance and how we are being the now. Thank you, Srini sir.
Thank you, Blossom. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Wow, now wasn't that inspiring? I hope you guys took notes. And if there are still any questions, you can keep them pouring in. Meanwhile, we shall move on to the last segment of this session that we have, where I would like to talk to you about the ultimate pitch. So, as you all know, we are in the eighth edition of the Ultimate Pitch now, and it's been a journey of evolution for us as well. What started with our first edition almost 7 years back, with a contest which was open to only 16 B schools, has today evolved to become one of the biggest B school competitions across India. And it's so wonderful to state that we're actually open to all B schools across India. So today, TUP is a platform where you truly can showcase your entrepreneurial skills and can go up against the best minds in the country. So without further ado, let's get straight to how do you participate. So here's what you need to do. First of all, you need to register, and you can register either as an individual or up to a team of 4 members. Of course, you need to come up with an idea. That's where it all begins. Make sure it solves a real world need. And you need to pitch it to us in a simple 3-minute video pitch. All of you know what an elevator pitch is. So you need to pitch your brilliant idea to us in a 3-minute crisp video and upload it on the TUP website, which is reliancetup.in. And that's it, you're in. And we'd also like to give you a few cheat codes because we at Reliance like to tell you what it is that we're looking for that will make your idea stand out among the rest. So, tip number one, be futuristic. If you've learned anything from the past 1 hour that we were talking about Reliance, you always you always need to think about what the next big thing is. Of course, you need to solve a real world need or a problem and make sure your idea does that. Third, your idea definitely needs to challenge conventional wisdom, but at the same time, make sure it is practical. Without that, you won't be able to execute your idea. Of course, at Reliance, we love scale. So make sure you ensure that your idea is scalable. And lastly, for any idea to become a reality, you need to make a strong business case for it. So there you have it, your top 5 criteria that you'll be judged on. Let's now move to the contest calendar. We are currently at the launch phase. You know all you need to know about TUP, but if you still need more information, please do head to the Reliance TUP website. Please register before the deadline, that's 25th November, and submit your idea by 27th November. The next stage, your ideas will be evaluated, and the best of the best from each campus will battle it out in the virtual campus round. The next stage is where you level up your game. You will be eligible for the virtual semi finale. But that's not it. The semi finalists will get an opportunity to attend an exclusive idea workshop, which will help you take your idea to the next level. Now, of course, something's new because with TUP, we always like to innovate and think about what we can do new for our audience. And I'll come to that in a bit. And the last stage of TUP is, of course, the grand finale. Now, this is a 2-day event at our turf, which is Reliance Corporate Park, that you just don't want to miss. Day one of the ultimate pitch will involve you actually pitching your idea in the form of booths to an actual audience. You'll get to market your idea to the Reliance audience and gather votes. So, the Popular Choice Award will be determined based on these votes. Day two, of course, is going to be a grand gala wherein you'll get to meet a lot of senior leaders at Reliance and you'll get to pitch your idea to the grand jury, where the ultimate winner of the ultimate pitch will be crowned. And now for the little surprise that we have for you. I have a question up on screen. What do you think is common among all of these brands that you see on screen? I'd like you to head over to the chat like you did before and type in your answers. I need you to tell me what you think is common among all these brands. Okay, let me see if there are any answers coming in. Okay, awesome. Rahul, that was super quick. Kudos to you. So Rahul says all of these brands are owned by Reliance. Okay, Mohammed says unicorns. Excellent. So you guys pretty much guessed it right. All of these are startups that are now owned by Reliance. Now, what if I told you that this season of the ultimate pitch, if you make it to the national finals, you will get the opportunity to actually be mentored by the CEOs and founders of these very startups like NetMeds, Urban Ladder, Zivame, and many more. At Reliance TUP 8.0, you will actually get the opportunity to get mentored one on one by some of India's most unique and enigmatic entrepreneurs. So, gear up for that, and I hope you're very, very excited. Even beyond this, the ultimate winner goes away with a cash prize of 6 lakh. There's also a cash prize for the runner up, and like I said, the popular choice. Apart from the mentorship and the cash prize, we also have pre placement interviews for all national finalists. And that's not all. We also have some special campus awards for institutes that actually perform well at the ultimate pitch. So, root for your campus by participating well and help your campus win an award by participating in TUP in large numbers. Now, let's go beyond rewards. Beyond all of this, TUP really is a bag full of excitement. And I'd like you to not just take my word for it. Let's hear it from some of our past winners about their experience at TUP.
During the entire process of Reliance TUP, we made various modifications to understand how the venture could be taken forward. It has been a great story, and we have been doing great even now after we have won Reliance TUP 4.0. We have been getting requests from various incubators and venture capitalists throughout the country who are hugely excited.
See, we were a bunch of college kids, right, with one idea, and this mentorship truly made it very, very solid. So, like, I still remember Anirudh Kusape sir giving us ideas about stickiness and product imitation, and it opened our eyes to different topics that we hadn't even thought about. And he really helped us streamline our ideas, and I think that played a very big role in what came out of it in the end. So I'm truly grateful for Reliance for even giving us an opportunity to talk to people and understand how things actually work.
The whole journey was a memorable experience. It began with us forming a team and working as a team in collaboration to build our idea. Then having a mentorship given by Reliance for us to improve our idea, interacting with the industry leaders.
Well, there you have it. You've heard it from your very own seniors who have made it to the top two in the past seasons of The Ultimate Pitch. Now, with that, I'd officially like to say that the ultimate pitch is all yours. Head over to reliancetup.in and register your teams now. And through this last segment, if you have any questions, particularly regarding the contest or the process, or if any of you have any feedback regarding today's session, we'd like to hear from you. So please share your queries and your comments in the chat section, and I'll try to answer as many of them as possible. I'll just quickly head over to the chat window. Okay, so one question that's come in from Sanjana, is there any theme for the business idea which we need to come up with, or can it be anything? So Sanjana, the good news for you is that Reliance TUP, first of all, is not a case study competition. Neither do we like to give you any boundaries whatsoever. So at TUP, your idea could be in the space of technology, sustainability, fashion, food, anything at all. We do not want to give you any boundaries. All you need to do is consider those 5 criteria that I mentioned to you before, and that's it. So, absolutely not. There is no specific theme that you need to stick to. Okay, so Yash Gupta mentions, will there be selection from each campus, or will there be winners from each campus that will be chosen? So Yash, excellent question. Let me give you an example. Of course, if there are enough entries from a particular institute, we might just choose to have a separate campus round only for that institute. That's basically if those many amount of ideas make it to the campus round. So the takeaway from this is, of course, that if we have enough number and quality of ideas being submitted from your institute, then there will be an exclusive campus round for your institute. But apart from that, there's no specific rule as to choosing ideas only from particular institutes. It's open to all. Mayank asks a similar question that Sanjana asked. Is there any particular domain that Reliance wants us to ideate in? Well, Mayank, it's completely up to you. At the end of the day, it's your idea and it's your brainchild. So if you believe in it and if you think that your idea is futuristic, solves a real world problem, it challenges conventional wisdom, it's possible to scale up, and you can make a strong business case, then by all means, please do submit your idea. Neil asks whether whether only B school students can participate. Well, Neil, yes, this competition is exclusively open for B school students, and it's open to all B school students across India. So make sure you do register and participate. Rachit Mehta, love your question. Rachit is asking, is there a session recording? Love it. Okay, so Rachit, just for you, we will have a session recording made available. Please do ask your friends to watch it in case they were busy completing some assignments on campus. And Anirban asks a question, can we submit on Unstop as well? Great question, Anirban. I'm sure a lot of you have already registered or created your profiles on Unstop. So by all means, TUP is also open there. So there are two ways in which you can register, either through the website directly or through Unstop. Pranav Joshi, excellent question again. Is 3 minutes time limit to be strictly followed? Well, Pranav, I'd like you to imagine this scenario. You have a brilliant idea, and it's something that you are just itching to pitch to this one particular CEO. And suppose you meet this particular CEO in an elevator, and all you have is that elevator ride from ground floor till, let's say, the 14th floor. You have just 3 minutes, supposedly. You need to pitch your idea in that 3 minutes. So, to answer your question, yes, the 3 minutes is to be strictly followed. You will be timed throughout the competition. All right, awesome. So that's it with the questions for now. I don't see any further questions. Some are repeated, so I won't take those. Thank you so much, first of all, for being such a wonderful audience and for being so very interactive, even throughout B Srini's session. Don't go anywhere. We also have a very special career cafe session that's going to be starting really, really soon at 5:30 p.m. So all you need to do is head over to the lobby and click on Career Cafe to learn more about exciting opportunities in the world of Reliance. Of course, feel free to follow us on our social media handles. We have our presence across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. to catch all the excitement and updates about TUP. In fact, please do also explore this wonderful digital platform. Fun fact, this digital platform has been designed around Reliance Corporate Park itself. So this is a good sneak peek into what you can expect if you do make it to the grand finale and actually come visit us here. So, with that, this is me, Blossom D'Souza, signing off. All the very best for all of your ideas to take flight. Stay safe and good luck.